Hello, everyone, and welcome back to my book read. Today's story will show how people can lose each other without meaning to and still choose to find each other again after becoming different. Okay, let's begin, shall we? Title: Lost and Found. Episode 1. The town did not appear on most maps. It sat between the sea and a road that rarely led anywhere important, a place people passed through without remembering the name. In summer, the air smelled of salt and citrus peel. In the evenings, the light softened everything: faces, buildings, even the past. Myra arrived first. She stood on the platform with her suitcase upright beside her leg, fingers tight around the handle, watching strangers reunite and separate as if it were a language everyone else had learned before her. The station clock ticked too loudly. She checked her phone, though there was nothing to check. No messages, no missed calls. She had not wanted to come. The program brochure had promised cultural exchange and personal growth, words that sounded impressive but meant very little when your parents had already decided for you. Myra had learned early that resistance only made things harder. So she nodded, packed carefully, and told herself it was only for the summer. She walked through town slowly, memorizing streets the way she memorized schedules, methodical, precise. She noticed which cafes closed early, which doors stuck, which corners stayed in shadow even at noon. She liked knowing where things belonged. The hostel was small, pale yellow, with balconies that looked like they might collapse if leaned on too hard. Myra checked in, climbed the narrow stairs, and set her suitcase on the bed without unpacking. She sat down beside it, hands folded, waiting. She did not know for what. Isha arrived like weather. She burst through the same station hours later, hair tangled by wind, laughter spilling out before she even spoke. She had missed her bus, then caught another, then decided to walk the last stretch because the sun felt good on her skin. She talked to the driver, the woman next to her, the child who stared at her shoes. By the time she reached the hostel, she had learned 3 names and forgotten them all. Her room was shared. She tossed her bag onto the bed nearest the window and leaned out, breathing deeply as if she could inhale the town whole. She loved places like this, temporary, imperfect, alive. Places that didn't expect her to stay. Down the hall, she heard a door open. She poked her head out, smile already forming. "That's the ocean, right?" she asked no one in particular. Myra paused mid-step. "Yes," she said after a moment. Isha grinned. "Good, I was hopping." They stood there, strangers linked by a hallway that smelled faintly of detergent and heat. "I'm Isha," she said, holding out her hand. "Myra." Isha shook it with enthusiasm, as if sealing something important. "We should see it tonight." "See what?" "Everything." Myra hesitated, then nodded, surprising herself. Lena arrived the next morning, suitcase too heavy, shoulders tight. She had repacked 3 times before leaving, worried she'd forgotten something essential: documents, medication, proof she belonged wherever she was going. She moved carefully through the town, eyes up, absorbing details but keeping distance, as if closeness might demand something she wasn't ready to give. At the hostel desk, she struggled with the language, cheeks warming as she apologized too many times. Someone behind her leaned in gently. "Here," the girl said softly, translating with ease. Lena turned. The girl's voice was calm, steady, like water over stones. "Thank you," Lena said, relief loosening her breath. "I'm Lena." "Noor." Noor smiled briefly, then stepped back, already fading into the background of the room. Lena watched her go, something in her chest tugging unexpectedly. They found each other by accident. It was evening. The sea was turning dark blue, the horizon dissolving into shadow. Myra stood near the water, shoes in her hands, staring at the waves as if waiting for them to behave. Isha was skipping stones nearby, failing spectacularly and laughing each time. Lena approached cautiously, unsure if she was interrupting something already formed. Noor lingered a few steps behind, observing the way the 3 fit together without trying. None of them said, "This is it." None of them needed to. They sat together on the cool sand, knees drawn up, watching lights appear along the shore. Conversation came easily, not because they were alike, but because they were curious. Myra spoke of structure, of how comforting it was to know what came next. Asha spoke of movement, of how staying still felt like disappearing. Lena listened, then admitted she didn't know which she wanted more, safety or escape. Noor listened longest. When she finally spoke, her words were careful, honest. "I think some people are meant to wander," she said, "and some are meant to wait, but sometimes we do both." They fell quiet after that, the kind of silence that doesn't rush to be filled. Days layered themselves gently. They woke early, wandered markets, shared meals that lasted too long. They learned each other's habits without trying. Myra always checked the time. Asha never did. Lena folded her clothes neatly, even on vacation. Noor wrote every night, pages she never showed. They argued once, about nothing important, and were surprised by how easily they forgave each other. One night, a storm rolled in suddenly. Rain chased them through narrow streets, laughter echoing as they ran for cover. They ducked under a balcony, breathless, hair-soaked, pressed close by necessity. For a moment, something settled between them. Belonging, maybe. The summer ended quietly. The last night, they returned to the beach with drinks bought cheaply and hope bought freely. The water reflected moonlight like broken glass. Asha raised her cup. "To this," she said. "To us." "To finding each other again," Lena added, voice trembling just slightly. Myra hesitated, then lifted her drink. "No matter where we go." Noor watched their faces, memorizing them. "We'll remember," she said. They believed it. That was the tragedy and the beauty of it. When morning came, departures were staggered, messy, incomplete. Promises made too quickly, numbers exchanged, hugs held too long. Then the town swallowed their footsteps. The sea kept moving. And somewhere, time began its quiet work. End of episode 1.